What is going on, guys? Today I bring you another video of the journey to National Master, and is episode 100. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. And let's see, I have the special game for you guys today. Uh, in this game, I played against Gustavo Ribeiro, and he's a very talented, actually probably top one junior in Portugal, I think, at the moment. But fun fact about Gustavo Ribeiro, he actually, when I played him in this tournament, he was 1876 rated, and just 2 months after he got his FM title, so he got to 2300, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, also another fun fact: this was the 8th round of Open Family Cup 2023, and I played with him before in the same tournament, Open Family Cup 2022, and it was also in the 8th round, and I also had white pieces, so it was just deja vu. But I unfortunately we both lost the game, and I couldn't show you guys in the channel. But let's go. This was already a big intro, but yeah. So I had white pieces. I started with knight f3. He went c5. I went g3, knight f6 by my opponent, bishop g2, knight c6, and here I played d4. So pretty much in this tournament, as I said, my idea with white pieces was mostly to play sort of freestyle, just play knight f3, g3, and just improvise, try to be creative, and not rely so much in opening three theory. But you know, it didn't pan out too well. But let's see. So I played d4 here to stop him from playing e5. I didn't want to allow this, so I played d4. He took, I took back, and he played g6. So this is kind of this almost looks like a Grunfeld, reverse Grunfeld or something like that. It's interesting for sure, but yeah, I had no idea about this position. But okay, just play chess, right? So after g6, I played castles. He played bishop g7, and here I traded on c6. He captured back with the b pawn, opening the b file for him, for his rook. And here I played c4, and I was kind of comfortable, I guess, with this type of positions. Um, and yeah, but yeah, I was just gonna see what his idea was. He castled. I played knight c3, and he played rook b8. So okay, pressuring the b2 pawn. Played queen c2, felt like a natural square for the queen, and he played queen c7, lining up the queen also on the c file. And here, I started struggling. One thing that I struggle a lot when I play these freestyle type positions is that I don't really know where to put my pieces. And of course, I want to develop my dark square bishop, but I don't really know where I want to develop it to. Yeah, b3 and bishop b2 didn't look that impressive because, the knight is on the way, and this diagonal doesn't seem like too exciting for my bishop. Although, what looks kind of interesting is maybe get a bishop to f4, but at the moment I can't really do that because I run into e5, and yeah, I just decided to play bishop g5. Also, yeah, it's putting some pressure on the knight on f6, and I guess it develops the bishop, so I can also bring the other rook into the game. But yeah, at this point I already spent some time on the clock. I think my opponent didn't spend too much. He usually plays fast chess, even in longer time controls. h6, and here I make the first big mistake of the game. I trade on f6, and yeah, after bishop takes on f6, the computer doesn't say it's a big mistake, but practically speaking, is a very big mistake. But let's go back here. What I should have done is bishop e3, but like knight g4, attacking my bishop with tempo. But in reality, it's not really a good move to play knight g4. I can simply just play bishop d2, and I'm fine. This knight is misplaced, and this bishop is developed on d2 better than this knight on g4 for sure. So yeah, this is just silly that I was afraid of knight g4. I'm sure that my opponent wouldn't play knight g4, even if he did something like, I don't know, knight e5. I could play b3 and everything is fine. I don't have to worry about anything. But okay, I decided to take on f6, which practically speaking, I just gave up my bishop pair for nothing, and yeah, uh, it's just a pleasant advantage to my opponent, honestly. And yeah, it's not good. Taking on f6 is not good at all. Um, I played rook c1. Okay, finally developing the rook. Developing it c1 is it's very passive, but yeah, at this moment, I felt like I was fine. You know, I clearly didn't think I had any sort of advantage, but I also thought that I couldn't be worse. In reality, I'm slightly worse for sure. My opponent played d6, I played b3, bishop d7, and here knight e4, attacking the bishop on f6, and my opponent just calmly retreats the bishop to g7. And here, yeah, we get to a point where I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really know how to put pressure in my opponent, and it feels like a weird type of position where I just don't see any plan. And I decided to play knight d2. Honestly, uh, I don't even know what knight d2 does, but at the same time, like, what move can I do here? Maybe rook fd1 maybe would be better, at least developing the last piece into the game. But yeah, I played 92, and the computer already doesn't like my position after the well played move by my opponent a5, trying to break up this structure with a4 next and create sort of a weakness on b3, backwards pawn. I play a3, you know, thinking, okay, if he plays a4, I play b4, and everything's fine. But I completely missed this move c5, which, you know, kind of points out that a3 was a bad move. But okay, this is already a very, very difficult position to play for white, because I don't really have a obvious way to improve my position. I kind of have to defend, and that's why, like, giving up the bishop pair like that was a big mistake. Now I can't even fight for the dark squares. My opponent has the dark squares for free, and that is so big. Like, this bishop is a monster compared to this knight, which is not doing anything. Doesn't even have a square to sit in. So yeah, here I played a4, I guess, to make some sort of you know, uh, path for my knight to get to b5. Although I'm not sure that I played a4 because of that, as you'll see later. Here my opponent plays bishop c6, which the computer doesn't like that much. The computer wants him to play something like rook b6 to double on the b file, or play bishop f5, which I don't really know what does, because it just runs into e4, but okay. But my opponent played bishop c6, which I felt like it was a very, very good move during the game, because pretty much is eliminating the only good piece that I have, minor piece that I have, which is the bishop. And after takes, we are left with a position, a typical middle game position of a bad knight versus good bishop, you know? And it's true. His bishop is just way too strong compared to my knight, dominates all the dark squares, and just puts a lot of pressure. Here I play knight e4, which is a bad move again. My opponent plays rook b4, nice, and here I play knight c3. And this is just bad, and this is just almost accepting defeat with sort of long death. That's what I would call it. Because, yeah, I mean, after takes, my opponent has a risk-free position. This is what happened in the game. Basically, he has one weakness to target, and I have nothing to target. Honestly, I'm just gonna have to defend miserably for the rest of the game. What I could have done, maybe, to keep myself with more chances of holding and to fight for something, would be knight b1, which I also thought, but this kinda makes me lose a pawn immediately with something, for example, as queen b6, and after knight e3, he would take on b3, I would take, takes, and this. Um, Maybe this is not the best way to do it, because after rook b4 is immediately picking up this pawn or this pawn. But maybe after queen takes on b3, maybe here I could play knight b5, and after something like queen takes on c2, rook takes on c2, maybe I would have better chances to hold this endgame, because at least my knight is really good on b5. It's blocking um the b file, and okay, I'm down a pawn, but my opponent would have to come up with a good plan to actually convert this position, and it would definitely be more difficult than what happened in the game. um what happened in the game made it way easier for my opponent to just win this pawn immediately and just get a risk-free endgame, pretty much. I played queen e3, which keeps some pressure in the position, attacks h6 and e7. Actually, for my surprise, my opponent took on b3, which I thought wasn't a good move because it allowed a lot of counterplay from me. And it actually wasn't a good move. It allowed indeed counterplay from me, and it shouldn't have allowed this. So after rook takes on b3, queen takes on b3, queen takes on e7, queen takes on c4, and queen takes on d6. And here, I'm attacking his rook, which is very nice. With tempo, he plays rook e8. And okay, I'm probably gonna be down a pawn still, because he's gonna pick up a4. But you know what? Like, I don't think my position is that bad, actually. It's probably gonna be hard for him to convert, because at the moment, if he plays queen takes a4, I take on c5. And although he has this passed pawn, it's just one passed pawn, and there's still a rook and a queen for both sides, so it's not easy. And here, there's one good move that holds the balance. The computer says this position is equal if I find the move e3, which I didn't find at all. Yeah, maybe makes sense, honestly, to just push the pawn to e3 and just sort of defend it this way. I don't know. I don't even remember considering this move. Maybe I saw something that I didn't like about it. So here I played queen d7, which the computer doesn't like at all. And you know, I think my idea with this was to simply defend this pawn, although it was sort of defended because I could have played queen takes on c5 if he played queen takes on a4. But yeah, my idea was to, okay, give up the e2 pawn, but now after queen d8 check, king g7, I get to grab the pawn on a5, but I missed that my opponent will easily recover the pawn immediately with rook a2. And now there's a double attack here, and I don't have time to defend it. And yeah, I just played queen b5. And after rook takes on a4, I traded queens. And yeah, this endgame where my opponent is up a pawn, I thought that I could hold this, but that isn't the case. This is probably lost. With perfect play, I would say, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not an expert in rook endgames yet. But okay, here, my opponent just brought his king, started pushing his pawn, and I slowly found myself in an hopeless position. And yeah, my opponent converted this without too much trouble. And yeah, after just king c3 here, I resigned. It was a good game, honestly. I felt like the opening went very, very bad, but honestly, it just outplayed me throughout the game. I had my chances to come back and maybe hold, but I wasn't able to make the right decision when I had the chance. So GG's to Gustav, and in the next video, I'm gonna cover the last game of Open Family Cup. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.